Alright, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thanks for coming again this week to potentially the last Qur'an discussion of forever. Who knows, we might have one next week, but we might not, so we'll see. And thankfully we're at the end of Surah Naml, and the end is about 3 minutes, so we're probably going to listen through the entire rest of the recitation because it's equivalent to about 10 or so verses, and it's all talking about the Day of Judgment and certain signs of the Day of Judgment. And there's one sign that I'm always really interested in when I hear about it because there's just so little information about it. So we'll probably focus the most on that particular sign. But if anyone else has any other questions or comments, we'll also go ahead and address those. But inshallah, we'll just go ahead and listen to the recitation right now.
وإذا وقع القول عليهم أخرجنا لهم دابة من الأرض تكلمهم أن الناس كانوا بآياتنا لا يوقنون ويوم نحشر من كل أمة فوجا ممن يكذب بآياتنا فهم يوزعون حتى إذا جاءوا قال أكذبتم بآياتي ولم تحيطوا بها علما أم ماذا كنتم تعملون ووقع القول عليهم بما ظلموا فهم لا ينطقون ألم يروا أنا جعلنا الليل ليسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون ويوم ينفخ في الصور ففزع من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله وكل أتوه داخرين وترى الجبال تحسبها جامدة وهي تمر مر السحاب صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون من جاء بالحسنة فله خير منها وهم من فزع يومئذ آمنون ومن جاء بالسيئة فكبت وجوههم في النار هل تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إنما أمرت أن أعبد رب هذه البلدة الذي حرمها وله كل شيء وأمرت أن أكون من المسلمين وأن أتلو القرآن فمن اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فقل إنما أنا من المنذرين وقل الحمد لله سيريكم آياته فتعرفونها وما ربك بغافل عما تعملون.
When the verdict is given against them, we shall bring a creature out of the earth, which will tell them that people had no faith in our revelations. The day will come when we gather from every community a crowd of those who disbelieved in our signs, and they will be led in separate groups, until, when they come before him, he will say, "Did you deny my messages without even taking them in? Or what were you doing?" The verdict will be given against them because of their wrongdoing. They will not speak. Did they not see that we gave them the night for rest and the day for light? There truly are signs in this for those who believe. On the day the trumpet sounds, everyone in heaven and on earth will be terrified, except such as God wills, and all will come to him in utter humility. You will see the mountains and think they are firmly fixed, but they will float away like clouds. This is the handiwork of God who has perfected all things. He is fully aware of what you do. Whoever comes with a good deed will be rewarded with something better and be secure from the terrors of that day. But whoever comes with evil deeds will be cast face downwards into the fire, and it will be said to them, "Are you rewarded for anything except what you have done?" Say, Prophet, what I am commanded to do is to serve the sustainer of this town, which he has made inviolable. Everything belongs to him. I am commanded to be one of those devoted to him. I am commanded to recite the Qur'an. Whoever chooses to follow the right path does so for his own good. Say to whoever deviates from it, I am only here to warn. Say, praise belongs to God. He will show you his signs so that you will recognize them. Your Lord is never unmindful of what you all do. So this particular passage for the conclusion of Surah Naml is very powerful. It talks about events in the Day of Judgment, how the world is destroyed right before the Day of Judgment, everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watches, and what we will eventually earn from our own deeds, whether that is something peaceful or whether we'll be thrown face first into the fire. And certainly we can discuss all of that, but when I was first reading the passage, I particularly was focused on a certain sign of the Day of Judgment, which is often called al-Dabat al-Ard, because of this part of the Quran where in this 82nd ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we shall bring a creature out of the earth, and that is the exact Arabic translation, basically. Dabatan for creature, al-Ard for the earth. And it's a sign that it is a sign of the Day of Judgment, but what's bizarre about the sign is it's only mentioned this time in the Quran, and it's hardly ever mentioned in any Sahih Hadith. Actually, it's never mentioned in any Sahih Hadith, and it's not mentioned in any of the big two collections, al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, and there's a few mentions of al-Daba in at-Tirmidhi and Sunan Ibn Majah, but from my own research, I couldn't find it anywhere else. There are other tafsir books, and there are other tafsir analysis and other hadith books where this is mentioned, but they're not as well substantiated, of course, as our big six books. So what is this creature that will come out of the earth? Like I said, there's not really much that we know about it except that it is a creature. Some people, like the Qadianis, will say that this is something metaphorical, like AIDS, like the disease AIDS, or like telephones or anything like that. And they kind of reach with a lot of explanation, but the Arabic here is pretty clear, especially in the Quran, that it's al-dab, it's some kind of creature, whether that is some humanoid creature or animalistic-like creature, we have no idea. If we try to draw parallels to the Bible, because sometimes the Bible can have information that the Quran doesn't have, but we always have to take it with a huge bag of salt because we don't know what's real and what's not. The Bible will say that there are two kinds of creatures. One has like 7 heads, and they have 2 horns on each head, and on each horn there's a crown, and it will spew fire and speak basically parcel tongue. And then there's another creature that has like a demon's head, and 2 horns like a goat, and will also spit fire. So we have no idea whether or not those creatures have anything to do with our creature. Some other weak hadith say that this creature will wield the staff of Moses as well as the seal of Solomon, which is like the ring that Sulaiman alayhi salam used to, or at least this is the signet that is said to have given Sulaiman alayhi salam the power to control all jinn. Again, pretty weak. But if that was true, the creature would take the staff of Moses and literally stamp people with it if they're a believer, and then they would stamp other people with the ring of Sulaiman alayhi salam to say that they are disbelievers, and then draw a distinction between them. All that being said, there's a lot of mystery around this creature, but it definitely will exist right before the Day of Judgment. There's another weak hadith that says that the creature will come out of a certain area in Makkah. Very weak, daif, and very weak transmission, but it's in Tirmidhi if anyone wants to read it. So what exactly is the purpose of this creature? Why draw a distinction between believers? One person can say that this might be a sign for those right before the end, before the sun rises from the west, and then there's truly no turn back. Another thing could be that those who are weak in Iman will become stronger when they see it. It could be a way just to bring people in line right before the biggest test of all, which is the Dajjal and the Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam coming back down from heaven to fight the Dajjal, as well as the Mahdi coming. No clue. But it's very fascinating for me to just think about what this creature is, because it's described just in this ayat. We will bring out for them from the earth a treading creature that will tell them mankind used to have no certitude in our signs. That's another thing that kind of strikes me, that it recognizes, and this creature will evidently speak, and it recognizes the fact that throughout all of history, humans have never had any faith in the signs that the prophets, peace be upon them all, bring when they come for revelations. And really, this surah is kind of a good example of that, because there are certain signs that, for example, Lut alayhi salam, his people never believed. Who else did we talk about? We talked about Sulaiman alayhi salam, and the Queen of Sheba believed. We talked about Musa alayhi salam, of course, Pharaoh, and a lot of his core people didn't believe. So it is kind of like drawing to close this entire surah and linking back to the themes that were touched upon before. But maybe it's just going to serve as a reminder right before the worst test hits all of humanity. Anyways, that was my little spiel on the creature of the earth that will come at the Day of Judgment. If anyone else has any more stories or what they have heard about this creature, or if anyone else has anything they want to talk about in this surah that was just that we just heard from Ibrahim al-Jibreen, I'll open the floor. Alright, well, if that's all, then Jazakallah khairan to everyone for coming to this potentially last Quran discussion. I'm glad we got through all of Surah Naml, even though I only recorded like half of that. For everyone watching the recording, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment, like a lot of people have been telling me to say. So, aside from that, Jazakallah khairan, and Assalamu alaikum.